So thank you for that majestic song there, Sherry. Great way to start our day today. And welcome everyone to the Center of Love. Closer.
And the camera's not on him.
How's that? That close enough? All right. So I don't know about you, but I really love the name Center of Love. I like playing around with it. Okay. Where exactly is the center? Is it here? Is it there? Is it there? Is it here? I think the answer is always yes. It's all those places, right? And even though we can find it everywhere, I do feel like there's something particularly special about us coming together, connecting to learn and grow in love every 2 weeks. And I imagine you must find it valuable too, where you would be coming, right? But it really is a very good thing. And I was talking with my kids last night. It was the last night of our never-ending sleepover, and we were eating dinner together. And I asked them if they thought everything was interesting. They said no. No, they didn't. You know, and I think most people probably think the same. You know, that's pretty standard response. But I said, well, I do. So they started quizzing me. He said, Dad, okay, how about this stain on the napkin there? Is that interesting? I said, yeah, that's turmeric. You put a pinch of turmeric in any dish and it can stain your counters forever. It's an incredible thing. So I said, okay. We said, how about this scratch on the table? And I said, yes. So Sam said, well, how about this fork? Yes. Yes. And Sam asked, how about this little piece of air? Yes. Said that was interesting. And let me explain. And I got maybe about another sentence in before they started just joking around and messing all about it. So they didn't get to experience the wisdom that I'm about to dispense to you today. Hopefully there's some value from it. So as far as why I see everything is interesting, and you know, it's about us coming together here today, but it's also just everything that's here, everything around us. It came here to be together. All the stuff that's here. And I think that's true at every level, from the physical or from the spiritual up to the physical, up to the biological. It's all just intertwined. And like I said, we came here to be together. You don't even have to have any spiritual or extra beliefs about it. I mean, that's just the physical gravitational attraction of it, right? And so that's why everything to me seems interesting, because in everything is everything. It's all going on. And that could just be a moment to say, like, whoa, dude, that's really deep. And we could stop there, and everything's deep, and then whoa. It's true. But I also see it as one way to fall in love with everything. That's something I've been thinking about recently. What if we could fall in love with every life? What would that be like? This is how I approach it. I'm sure there are many ways to approach it, because there are people. Now, what does all this have to do with Sherry's talk on a reciprocal world? I think my roundabout way of saying that we are all connected to everything through, and then we're always in relationship. and we're giving our attention, our gratitude, our love, or not. But I would like to focus just now on the value of your attention. What a gift. You come here, bring your awareness, bring your attention for myself, for each other, and for Sherry. What a wonderful speaker we have in Sherry today. The moment I met her, I saw that there was something special going on. And then she told me about where she's come from, what she's learned, and all the elders and shamans that she's learned from over the past 25 plus years. And here she is today to talk with us about our reciprocal world and the relationships that we find and the value that there is to be had in seeing the world through prayer and light. And so I would ask you to kindly welcome Sherry Morgan to the stage right now, to the pulpit. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such a sweet introduction.
Yeah.
Ben.
We can mistake it sometimes, it's a compliment.
Ben.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm and Ollie, I don't know whether they probably listened to the replay, but I hope you get better soon. Lori, welcome to our featured online guest today. Thank you for being here, and thank you all so much for being here. As Ben said, your attention is treasure. I think I paraphrased it. So I'm going to speak today. I'm excited to speak today about reciprocation. And as Ben pointed out, I teach people about the phenomenon of prayer and have done since, well, you could say 1998, but with the proper program since 2000. And over time, when people would ask me, especially in the beginning, when people would ask me, what do you do? I would say, oh, I teach people about prayer. And they would say, oh, it's really nice to know you will walk the other direction. So I began to say that I help people connect with spirit. And they didn't walk away quite so quickly. But anyway, I guess I haven't really come out of the closet fully until recently. I teach people about prayer. And I know that prayer is a kind of a dirty word for a lot of people, especially older perhaps people who grew up in a forced prayer context or something like that, or a punishing God context, or whatever we grew up in. But my website now says eco-spiritual prayer, which at least ties it to nature and not religion. So in my little intro, I pointed to car ignitions and light switches and what do they have to do with our spiritual nature. So what do they have to do with our spiritual nature? Well, light switches and car ignitions and heaters and all ignitions and all electricity are gifts of fire. Long ago, we all had a very intimate, close relationship with fire, our ancestors and us in former times. We nurtured our relationship with fire. We knew how important it was because fire, actual fire, as opposed to, harnessed fire in the form of electricity and so on, but actual fire heated us and lit our nights and cooked our foods. And we had to find ways to preserve fire because we couldn't always necessarily guarantee that we'd have some dry wood and kindling and all that. So people found ways to preserve coals from day to day to day, all year long, year after year after year, generation after generation, and so on for millennia. It's really only in very modern times that we have all these incredible conveniences, like hot water from the tap and light from the switch and heat from the wheel dial and motoring our way to places like this in a car and so on. So I want to bring in this idea that what got lost, a great deal got lost when we converted to harnessed fire. Our direct relationship with fire got lost. And that's a treasured relationship. And then appropriately, without mechanism, asked, where is love? And the first place he pointed was here, right? And of course, we all associate love with heart. Well, heart is our sacred fire. I once asked the elder shaman in Mexico, what was Grandfather Fire's relationship with Jesus? And he said, he's the sacred heart. So it is our heart that is the center of love in us. And fire is the element that connects. So fire warms and lights. But fire's main purpose is to connect, is connection. So heart connects, fire connects. We don't go around during the day, do we? I don't. And say, thank you, Grandmother Fire, when we turn on a light switch. Or turn the knob up on our heat. Or start our cars. Or have a hot shower. This morning while I was bathing, because I've been preparing this talk for ages, I actually did say thank you to fire in my hot bath. for warming the water. So this talk isn't really about fire, it's about reciprocation. And long ago, all over the world, and there's many names for fire. Of course, every tradition has their own name for fire, but in every tradition, in the ancestral ways, fire is a very sacred relationship. So people sat around fires, not just for light and warmth or to cook their food, but also to tell their sacred stories and share their dreams and hold counsel with one another and so on. And in fact, some stories were so sacred that they couldn't be told without a consecrated fire present to hold the space, to protect them, and to contribute the wisdom. So I use the word wisdom for heart, in relation to heart, and I use the word intelligence related to mind. And of course, we need intelligence too, but we've had such an emphasis on that in our culture that what's really the wisdom of heart has been kind of downplayed or dismissed in some cases, probably. So I want to invite people to continue to have a relationship with fire because it helps us with our own heart and our own connection and our own wisdom. And how do we have a relationship with fire? Well, one of the great ways is give thanks. And it doesn't take any extra time to say, thank you, fire, when you turn on the light switch. Or run your hot water or whatever. But you can also light candles. And I recommend if you're doing any prayers at any time, always have a candle lit because fire connects. And yes, your heart connects you, of course, and as Molly said, fire, well, heart is everywhere. But this is a little more direct. And you can build a relationship with fire that will be super beneficial. I promise. So it's by our heart and therefore the energy of fire in the world that we learn and grow and heal and find our purpose and connect and relate more fully. So reciprocation, in this case, mostly gratitude. All it takes. And, yeah. So, but I do want to talk about prayer and reciprocation in another context as well. So there are different kinds of prayer. Gratitude. We all know that gratitude is a form of prayer. And I definitely recommend gratitude to all aspects of nature all the time. But, especially again, without it taking an extra special time out of your day, you can say thank you to Mother Earth for all the food that you eat. Thank you, Father Sun, for the energy that made, had it grow. Thank you, fire, air, and water, because they give life to all. And thank you to the plants and animals on your plate. And I often thank you to the food that feeds the food that we eat, because that reminds us we're in this reciprocal relationship with all life. So long ago, of course, people also didn't have grocery stores to go to forage for food. They went out in nature and foraged, and they always gave thanks and usually made some kind of offering in exchange for the gift of the food or the medicine, the trees or whatever they harvested to build something, for example. So this reciprocal relationship with nature herself is I'm inviting us back into a more conscious relationship with, practices with, and it is a practice because it's not normal. It's not, we weren't brought up with that. And long ago we did that for probably millennia in many of our past lives. So nowadays we understand about reciprocation and exchange because when we go to the grocery store, it costs us money. So we get groceries when we pay money. The grocer paid his suppliers, the food wholesalers or wherever he got his, maybe farmers in some cases, right? And of course, the people who shipped it and the people who work in the store, they all get paid when we buy our groceries. So that's an exchange. I'm pretty sure that who got left out of the exchange, however far back we have to go, from the grocer to the food wholesaler to the farmers, however many steps there are, who got left out in the reciprocation exchange is Mother Earth, Father Sun, the rain, the wind, the clouds, the food itself, right? The plants and the animals that sacrifice their lives so we could live. So prayer and reciprocation have a lot to do with one another. So we give thanks because it's a way of paying back. It's a way of making an exchange. And the universe works on an exchange basis. So could we bring back the practice of saying thank you directly to aspects of nature? And again, it doesn't even need to take extra time, it could. But as you're walking along, oh, beautiful rose. Oh, dandelion, welcome back. Springtime, right? Or whatever, right? You can just engage with aspects of nature as you walk around, look out the window, as you look at the food on your plate. Thank you, asparagus. Thank you, whatever, right? Thank you for keeping me alive, keeping me strong and healthy. These are great, great, great gifts. So, Grandfather Fire, the quote that I borrowed, said, "My grandfather fire, the spirit of fire, speaks through one of my primary teachers in the Huichol cosmology. There's shamans, which takes a minimum of 6 years of apprenticeship, and more likely 8 or so. And then there's elder shaman, and then there's this other name. I think it's I've forgotten what it is, but it means God speaker person. So this shaman that I work with in Mexico was a God speaker person, and who spoke through him is fire. And fire came back, fire is speaking through 6 people on the planet currently. I think it's still 6, I assume. So that people can hear fire as clearly as when we speak to one another. And learn, for example, the difference between heart and mind, and about, balance and harmony and connectedness and relatedness and so on and so on and so on. So fire speaks through the shaman, and in that way, fire, one of the things fire said was, because this world is a living thing, everything knows what balance is and longs to move to that place. Knowing balance is something that you are born with. It is part of you, like a recognition or a knowing. So we kind of know this in our relationships with each other, right? We don't just take from anybody. We offer things in exchange, or in not just money, but help with fixing something or whatever it is. Come over for dinner, something. So harmony, what do I mean by harmony? Living in a kind of equitable exchange with the world around us. And we know that as humans, we exchange with each other all the time. And my invitation, of course, is to connect with the spirit that's living in all things, especially nature. And I am pretty darn sure you'll find that beneficial. But I want to bring this idea of reciprocation and exchange and prayer into a practice. So I've brought 2 plants today, both of whom we have agreed to help. And so what I want to do, so one of the things in my journey as a teacher of prayer, I was asked, I think way back, maybe 2003, to offer companion prayers. And then in 2013, I was asked to offer group companion prayers. So now what a companion prayer is, if you had something, for example, you wanted guidance about, you could come and say, okay, I want some guidance about X, whatever it is. And that's my, no. And but thank you, Pepper, for heating the room. And then we pray together. We sort out what the prayer actually is, and then we pray together. So I would pray on your behalf, and you would pray on your own behalf, and you would receive the guidance. So that seems to be a gift of mine, helping you connect, pray effectively, and receive your own guidance. So these 2 plants have agreed to help. And so what I want to propose is that we do, what I offer is to do a companion prayer, in this case, a group companion prayer. Lori, do you have a plant that you could bring over near you?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, great. Let's do that. So now so the prayer, because when I do a group companion prayer, I use just a general petition. That's another, that's what I wanted to talk about, is that, yes, there's gratitude prayers, and there's sending love kind of prayers, and there's paying respects kind of prayers. And another kind of prayer is to make a petition. And when we make a petition, that requires an exchange. I think the bigger the petition, the bigger the exchange or reciprocation, or the more relationship. So a way to build relationship, of course, is gratitude. A highly recommended way to build relationship with any aspect of this natural world, which is everything is infused with spirit. So we're really, when we speak to one another, we call it, conversation, we're talking, we're speaking, but we can also speak to the spirit of the plant or ocean or fire or whatever. And they love that. Oh, another thing the grandfather fire taught me in particular, when he was teaching me about the prayer work, he said, the gods never asked our long ago ancestors to worship them. The gods only asked our long ago ancestors to relate with them. Nature wants to be related with. Nature wants not to be remembered, forgotten, right? Wants to be included. And we all want to be acknowledged for our gifts. I think, I don't know, speaking personally, but I think that that's part of our reciprocation. So my offer then is to do a general prayer on behalf of all of you, if you are open to it. So the prayer that I propose, which is a general one, is whichever plant you decide to choose, if you want to do this. I'll walk you through the steps, but the prayer petition would be, will you help me with my learning? So not particular learning, not, anything like that, but just will you help me with my learning and allow the spirit of the plant to give you whatever it wants to give you. Is there anybody who doesn't want to do that? All right.
Would you like some background music on along with this or no?
Very, very low, maybe, yeah. So this will be our form of meditation. So it's meditation / prayer today, and we'll lead directly into our sharing circle after this. Oh, and by the way, I did want to say that song, I guess you noticed it's called Sacred Fire, right?
Yeah.
And it was, that was from the coronation of King Charles. Anyway, I went looking for a song about sacred fire, and that's what I found. So, all right, so why don't you first choose which of those two plants you feel more connected with or attracted to, or which one do you want to sit with? And we'll split up into two groups. Everybody got their choice? You've got a plant, Lori? I can't see. All right, you got your choice? Yes? So why don't we've got this plant, sit over and a little park around here. People want to take this plant, let's sit in a little park over here. And go ahead and move the canvas. So now, this is about reciprocation, right? So we're making a petition from the plant. So gratitude is always appreciated and always a form of exchange. But I've also brought little bowls of tobacco. We take a tiny pinch, we swim the plants in tobacco. And when you begin, you'll offer the pinch to the plants, into the soil. And Lori, you probably don't have tobacco, I'm guessing. Can't see her.
No.
Yeah, but just offer your gratitude to your plants. So I'm going to say the steps, and then I'm going to walk you through the steps because you probably won't remember all 7 of them. You're only going to get 4. So when you offer your pinch of tobacco and your gratitude to the plant, introduce yourself by name. And thank that plant for calling you and for offering to help. Because they did. Lori, do you want to ask your plant, will you help me with my learning and just feel what the plant says?
Can you repeat that again, Sherry? I missed what the question was.
Just ask your plant, will you help me with my learning? And feel what the plant is saying to you. Did you get a feeling yes?
Yeah.
Good, okay. All right, so when you approach your plant, introduce yourself by name and thank you for offering to help and gifting it a little pinch of tobacco. Okay, you can do that now. Please take a few minutes to, let's say, meditate with the plant that you've chosen. You know, at first, maybe you get to know it well. And after a minute or so, maybe you just, well, let's say 2 minutes, or 1 or 2 minutes of just paying attention to the plant. Keep your mind quiet and look at the plant, and then ask after a minute or so, will you help me with my learning? And then stay quiet and see what comes. Okay, please say thank you to your plant. And now I guess we'll move into our sharing. And I invite you to share what your experience was with the plants prayer / meditation. And I guess give it us now, you guys saying,
Wow, thank you everyone for showing up today and for joining in. You know, not everyone would participate in a community like this or an activity like that. I feel like everyone just showed up openly, and it's a beautiful thing that I just wanted to recognize. And I wanted to say too, you know, thank you for all of your insights and your perspectives. I really appreciate it, and that we all have some appreciation for that as well. So Sherry, thank you so much. By the way, I want to give you some applause, but